Hello, everybody. Welcome to, I'm Lisa, One Singing Lady Gilliam, here with your LLG Random But Real Wednesday Word on Word Wednesday. And I am super, super, super excited. That's a lot of supers, right? To have my friend Jennifer Cole on today for this topic. For a lot of different reasons. And I'm going to tell you all why. But let's do the little housekeeping stuff first. So I told y'all after friends telling me that I need to really use my platforms to promote or whatever. So please, you can go to my CD, well, one of my CDs, The Pen. It is on my website. And I will put that in the chat, but lisalgilliam.com. They're $10. And then I also have a doTERRA link. I forgot that I actually sell like essential oils. I forget all the things that I do. But the reality is, because of the pandemic, it has definitely caused an issue for the independent artists just as well as the national artists. And I used to gig and do ministry events and engagements prior to this, not just singing, but speaking. And I don't do any of that stuff now. So you all supporting me by, purchasing the CDs and stuff, that actually does help. Also, I'm trying to think, I want to make sure I get all of the housekeeping things out. Oh, you can listen to the songs, follow me. Kristen Queen says she's excited to be here for her bestie, Jennifer. Thanks for joining us. I know she is very happy that you are probably here to support. We're going to get to it just in a second. And then, so also, if this broadcast blesses you, please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube page. My prayer is that I will be able to do more of these events. And a lot of people watch, but they're not subscribing. I don't even care if you do the notifications. I just want people to subscribe so that I can get the word out to more people when I am doing things like this. And visit my guest book on the website so that you can let us know, or let me know, because I'm just one person, that you are being blessed by anything, even if it's just listening to songs, listen to these broadcasts, because all of us need encouragement, especially during this time. So do that for me. Shake your head. Even though I can't see it. Yes, she'll do that. Okay, so Tessa Murphy said, hey, God bless. So excited to be here. Thanks for having this conversation. You're welcome. So today I am excited. In September, I was doing, I usually do Celebrate Life, which teaches the people about the symptoms of depression in order to prevent suicide. And it's Suicide Prevention Month in September. And what I thought was just going to be 1 month, God turned into, we're booking to the end of December. And although I'm thinking about not doing this, I pretty much made the decision not doing this in January. I want to do some other variation than Wednesday posts. One of the things that was really pressing on my heart is about women who are barren. And although I don't know if I am or not, I know that in my lifetime, there are definitely things that have done or could have did that I should have probably had a child. And even though that may not be the case, I'm 47. And it makes me think or wonder if I am able to, or if I will ever be able to, because I'm 47 and I have some health issues, diabetes, fibroids. I'm being honest. And for those who have never been to one of these and don't really know how real I am or I can get, this is a random but real conversation. And so I don't pre-screen the questions. Jennifer doesn't know what I'm going to ask. I don't know what she's going to tell me. That's for me what makes it real. James D said, I'm excited for this conversation. And Porian Cunningham said, hey, Jennifer, thank you so much for joining. Adora has 3 hearts. So I love that you have all these friends. It's amazing. So thank you all for supporting us. And so when I put out on Facebook, any women over 40 have any issues with women or with children or want to have children, and it could have been male or female, Jennifer inboxed me right away. And I was like, thank you, God, because it was really on my heart to have this conversation. And so before we go any further, I want Jennifer to first introduce herself. Hey, Sherelle, a beautiful anointing, say hello, Jennifer and Lisa. Hello. The video that you watch. Okay. And, so if you could just tell us, who is Jennifer Cole?
Wow, such a loaded question. There are so many layers to Jennifer Cole, and those who know me close or dearly know that. I am a fierce, loyal friend, out here trying to conquer things in this world. Everyone knows I'm trying to be financially free in less than 10 years. So I have a lot of goals. I have a lot of dreams. I love my family dearly. I'm an only child. And so that really shaped a lot of who I am and where I came to be right now. And this right here, oh my goodness, it really shook my world, honestly. This right here, what I'm about to share today. And so when you reach that out to, not to me, but just in general, something just pricked my heart. And I was like, I'm going to share with you. And I had no idea where it was going. I didn't know what you were going to talk about. I didn't know.
I didn't say. You're right.
Platform, really. I met you before when we had the small groups together with real women.
Real women, yes.
A lot of deep things, right, in those groups. And so I just knew that I was like, Lisa has a good heart. And I know whatever the platform is that she's going to do here is going to be great. I didn't know it was going to be public, private. But then I figured, I prayed about it too. So, because this is the first time I think I've shared with you that I've shared it publicly. And even some of the people who I've invited to listen don't know about this, right? Wow. This is big. I mean, some do, but some don't. They don't know the depths of it. So this is a big deal for me to really step out to do this. I'm really not a public person either. I do a lot of things privately, and I don't like to be in the spotlight per se. And so
you have your tissue. It's okay. We can cry on here too. Like, I'm serious. I might cry. So it's all good. Okay.
So I thought this is just a blessing for somebody, not for me, but for somebody else that's going through something similar.
Absolutely. And I will just say, first of all, thank you. Thank you for entrusting me to help guide you through this whole first time process. I tell my business all the time so other people can be healed, but especially in a new audience, it's hard. It's not easy at all. And so I commend you for taking the first step to tell other people, because really, whenever we're going through or whenever we've overcome something or we're overcoming, it's not even for us anyway by ourselves. It's always for other people. And, you know, I know that because I've been doing this for such a long time. Thank you. That's one of my co-workers. You know, so I know that it can be difficult. You could take your time. For those of you all who are watching, like I said, it's random but real. So whatever Jennifer doesn't want to answer, she's not pressured to answer. It's not about that at all. We just want to make sure other people are healed in the midst of this. And like I said, you will be able to go to my YouTube page and see this after. Share it with other people. It's not just about like getting other people to subscribe, but really we need your help to share with other people so that they also can get healed. If we just keep it amongst ourselves, then how people are really going to be delivered or know that they're not alone. So with that being said, I told you that the topic of just being barren was on my heart, because I don't know if I'll ever have that opportunity at this age. And I know people are having children older. And that's usually the response that I get when I tell them you know, that pain. So can you tell me, let you tell the story in your own way. What is it that you were dealing with that made you be like, even after you prayed, I'm going to take this leap? And so what is it exactly, and what made you want to share at this time?
Gotcha. So probably about 5 years ago, I went to the doctor just because I was like, it's getting hard for me to lose weight. I'm not sure what's going on, you know, not thinking anything about fertility because it's never been in my family as an issue, or no one's ever talked about it like that. So I was like, oh, okay. So I went to the doctor. Long story short, after they ran some tests and things, they basically told me, well, you have a 1% chance of ever having your own child. I mean, and literally the way it was
1%.
Wow. 1 out of 100, right? So I've been diagnosed with a medical condition that only 1% of women get, right? And I'm getting emotional already.
It's okay. We will walk through it together. Take your time.
And I was like, and the doctor was literally like, that's it. Like, there's nothing more I can do for you. And in that moment, I felt so empty. Because that having children was something I always had a vision for forever, especially because I'm an only child. And I wanted to build a family that I never really had. I mean, I have a family, but it wasn't a big family. Even I don't even have a whole bunch of cousins. So I wanted to build a family that I didn't see growing up. And it kind of was like, wow, okay, so where do I go from here? And I didn't just stop there. I didn't just let one doctor say, well, no, it's not going to happen for you. I did a lot of stuff. Okay. I mean, I went through a year of literally, I would say, trying to preserve my fertility. Right. And I didn't share this with a lot of people. A lot of people didn't know. Even my parents didn't know until they had me. But, and it literally broke my heart because I'm like, God, why me? And I know we should never say that. And, you know, we all have the perfect and right things to say that, you know, everything's in God's time. But in that moment, all you know is what the doctors are telling me. And everyone knows about the biological clock and time and everything. And at the time, I was 38. So I'm 43 now. So I was 38 when I was given this. And at first, I think I was in denial. Because I was like, no, I'm going to figure this out. Because Jennifer figures things out. Anyone that knows me knows. I get on my grind and I figure it out. And so I did all these things, but none of the things were working. And I had already actually went through a breakup right before then. So it just seems like one thing after the other was compounding. And I had entered into counseling at that point. So that was even before the diagnosis. So maybe it was perfect timing because there were so many things to unpack. But at the end of the day, it was just like I felt like there was a hole, like there would be something missing. And I know there are other options, and people talk about other options, but you know, it's just kind of like what my vision was, what I had dreamed about almost my entire life may never be. May never be. And what do I do with that? How do I sit with that? How do I deal with when I see people who are pregnant, who are announcing births and all this? And what kind of feelings do I have? And how do I deal with that? And how do I feel be happy for them and go to these events and be okay with me? And so as I think about this whole process, and I don't think anyone ever really sees it this way. And I thought about it when I was, you know, thinking about what I was going to say today. Basically, for me, this 1% chance means it's like the death of something that may never be born. So it's a grieving. And I don't think anyone understands the grief that comes along with it. Because it's assumed that, well, you'll be okay. Because, well, not everybody's going to have them. So you'll just move on with your life. But I mean, as you can see, it's still a process. It's not something that you just, I mean, literally, I've been told just get over it, right?
Sorry.
And you know, that's kind of unfair because there is no timeline on grief. And I'm still processing it to this day. You know, of course, I have good days and I have not so good days, right? Or challenging days. That's what I call them. And I know that God is ultimately in control of everything. And I'm making my way through, but that's where I'm at. Because the funny thing is, and maybe it's not so funny, I have all the things, right? I have a great career. I mean, you know, I went to school, got my degrees. I have a loving family, and my family doesn't even pressure me. You know, my mom, my dad, they're good, but I feel so much pressure that I put on myself because I'm like, I'm the reason they'll never have grandkids. I'm the reason because they have no other choice but through me. And I think about that because I love them so much and they've given me so much. And I'm like, I want to be able to give them things back too. And I know that they're okay. You know, even if I chose other options, or if I never had kids, they will be fine. But I don't know why that's always the pressure I put on myself for that to happen. And so it's really daily. It's daily. That's all I can say. And I pray about it. I'm still in counseling, not just about this particular issue, but this is actually one of those things that I pray, like, God, when will it change? You know, when, I mean, not the situation per se, but how I'm dealing with it.
And how you're feeling about it. Yeah.
Because I don't want to always be like this, and I'm not like this every day.
No, I get it.
I'm talking about it, and it's so raw. It's raw every time I talk about it, and I want it to not be so raw.
I totally understand. Mine is not, I don't have as many raw feelings about not having children as I do about like the death of my mom and the trauma, the PTSD that I have for that.
Yeah.
Or even, you know, I'll openly share, I've been sexually abused, molested, and date raped. And the hurt that I feel, honestly, probably from my mom has trumped all of those, where I've kind of put that in the corner, and I don't talk about how much it's affected my relationships and, you know, everything else that's happened in my life. But I know what that raw feeling feels like when you want to get over something and it seems like I just can't get over this. And it's funny because I had a conversation with one of my friends who's watching now. I was just like, let me just ask you something. Have you ever asked your friends who don't have children if they really wanted to come to your children's birthday parties? And the stuff sometimes that God gives me, and she's on here. We had this conversation. She's like, no, I don't think I ever have. Because just like you, even though I don't know if I can or can have, I know at 47, my life has not gone the way that I thought it would go.
Right.
I know I've helped other people. I know I've been a blessing to others because they've told me. I'm not just making this up, whether it was preaching, singing, teaching, whatever, training.
Yeah.
I know that I've been able to pour into other people's lives, but then I go home empty.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a family and I don't have children. And so I understand that pain. And sometimes I don't want to celebrate with your family, not because I don't love you, but because it hurts, because it's a mirror image of what I don't have. So I get that.
Exactly.
And I don't think that a lot of people who have children, even if it's just one, that they really think about the people who don't, not just the children, but don't have a family, don't have a spouse, don't have, you know what I'm saying, any of those things. So I totally understand that, and I understand the daily grief process. Because you're right, grief extends past actual death. It's loss of anything, loss of dreams, loss of visions, loss of goals, loss of jobs, loss of people in your life. And so because you were already impacted initially with the breakup, and then to get this type of news, it changes the trajectory of your life.
Yeah.
So if no one understood, or anybody that's watching doesn't get it, like, get that today.
Exactly.
You watch this and you don't think differently, then we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. You gonna say something?
I get it. Well, no, I'm just thinking, like, for so long, you know, we made plans, right? Like, well, this is the time, and this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and we think we can just control everything. And you know, these are the monkey wrenches that are thrown in life. And I will say this is one of those areas in my life, and not to say I have control over everything, but this is literally one of those things I have control over nothing. You know, like, I just, it is at this point, you know, all I can do is pray. Like, I ask God to reveal to me whatever it is that He has for me at the end of the day. And I pray that, you know, honestly, that His will becomes what my desire is, right? Whatever that is. And to be okay in this situation. I think a lot of times I wanted to bring up the fact that in the Black community, especially, this is never discussed. Ever. I mean, in my family, I know it hasn't. I think even a couple people in my family have had miscarriages, but it's just seen as like normal. Just like, yeah, we have miscarriages.
Like, you can have another one. You can go on. You'll be okay. You're okay. Yeah, exactly.
There's no grief. No one grieves. You know, and I've asked some of them, you know, how did that? And they don't really go into it. It's just like, oh yeah, it just happened. But I was able to have a baby next or something like that. And so this right here, you know, it's like, how do they process that? Like, okay, you know, that doesn't look like grief to them. It just looks like, okay, those were the cards you were dealt. But I will say this, a part of that too is and this is kind of what a reason I wanted to do this is because I feel like this needs to be discussed in families. Not even the fact of what I'm going through, but planning. So let's say you have daughters, you know, as they're getting older, I think they really need to consider, what is it that you think you want? You know, if you do want children, or you have a certain path you want to go, there may be things you need to discuss with your doctor to determine where your body is. And I wasn't one of these women, and people kind of make this assumption that I was climbing the corporate ladder, right? And I just, you know, purposely didn't have kids, and I waited too late. And, you know, but that really wasn't the case. I think a lot of us are out here just trying to find the right mate to mate with, right? We don't necessarily just want to have
anybody, right?
Have children, but you want to have it in a certain way, and that's fine.
Right.
But the thing is, we don't educate our young ladies about that process. You know, we assume, and this might be because of stereotypes of the Black woman, that we're very fertile. We're just going to be able to, you know, drop babies at the drop of a hat and get pregnant, and no one really considers us in our whole selves. You know, it's a lot there, and I really want us to consider that. And I know we don't want to. I'm not telling people what to do, but just consider it. You know, because these are things that you may possibly do, maybe not, but just take that into consideration. Because if I knew then what I know now, I would have made different decisions. But it wasn't even something discussed. And I will tell you this. My parents didn't even know that I wanted kids until I was going through this process.
Wow.
And I don't know if that was because I just didn't have them yet, you know, because I've been in relationships and things, and maybe in their mind, well, it's just going to happen. And so since I hadn't, maybe they didn't think I wanted it. But when I was telling them about this process, that's when they really understood and they got it. And it was like a revelation. Like, oh my God. We didn't know. And so I want to say there just needs to be more discussion about it as well.
I agree. I think that there's a lot of taboo subjects in the African American community specifically. We don't want to go to counseling. And even when you talked about, you know, the grief, I'd rather drink, have sex, talk to a friend who doesn't know any training about how to really help you process through it. Talk to a minister. And I told you I was a minister, and a lot of my minister friends, I've said this over and over and over again, don't know what they're talking about when it comes to the mental health about things. And they should be referring to somebody who actually has gone to school to get training. And they do a disservice. And, you know, if there's, but you know, I'm just going to speak the real. I know that to be a fact. And I do think that we should have more conversations within the family about just different topics. And I know that somebody might have told you this. The only thing that I hear even now is that, 1%. But honestly, that's all that God needs is the 1%. So today, my teacher, we had a meeting, and she said, you know, how Jesse Jackson used to say, keep hope alive. That was like, he did say that, like, that was his whole campaign slogan. And that it really isn't over until God says it's over. And so it's like trying to find that balance. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be healed, God. I don't want to have to talk about this anymore, but I still trust you because I know that you're able. But what if you don't? And so even in some conversations I've had here, I was just like, you know, Paul had a thorn in the flesh until his death. And maybe this is your thorn. Maybe it isn't. We don't know. Only really God knows. But I told you the one thing I do know about sharing your testimony, one, because I believe the word of God is true. And it says we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. So you taking the courage to step to share this now, today, watch. It never fails. Watch what God does in your life because you were willing to share this with someone who may not have even known that you were feeling that way. The doors that will open from this, I can't even explain it. I don't know why or how he does it. It took me wanting to take my life, you know, wanting to, or having depression, having PTSD, these mental health issues to start talking about. And I was a counselor before I even was diagnosed with anything. to be able to share my stuff. It's not fun. I don't want to talk about that stuff. And
Right.
if you don't want to talk about this, you're blessing me. I can't even talk for anybody else, but you're definitely blessing me. And I'm sure people who are going to see this from years to come will be able to say, thank you, Jennifer, for sharing your story. You're not the only person. And sometimes it just takes us being able to bond to say, hey, I'm dealing with this. And for people to listen without judgment,
Yeah.
with telling us to get over it, because I hate those words.
Mhm.
Be honest. A beautiful Anointed said, I'm so sorry. What can those of us who have children do to be more considerable?
Wow.
Spirit to us that don't or want.
Mhm. Wow, that's the first time I've ever been asked that question. You know, that's so interesting. I would have to think about that because I think part of it is that I don't want you to not have what you have. Like I mean,
Right.
my
Love kids.
my great friends have a godson, right? So it's not
Yeah.
like I'm without children in my life. You know, I
Right.
am surrounded by children. So I love that and I embrace that. I think part of it is just being aware of what some of the triggers may be, right? So, or being aware of how you maybe ask the question about, well, why don't you have kids yet? Like, are you not, or questioning your life choices? Because
Right.
if you don't know my story, why are you questioning my life choices? And sometimes that's kind of how it seems a little judgmental in the fact that you're trying to make an assumption based
Mhm.
on my current situation. And
Mhm.
so I would just say, just be more aware. I mean, because I'm sure you have friends that don't have children. I'm not sure of their particular scenarios because there's so many different ones out there.
Right.
But or maybe ask the question. So, like you said, sometimes you don't feel like going to the party for the 1-year-old, right? Or whatever. So, maybe just ask the question instead of
Mhm.
assuming. I
Right.
think a lot of it is just wanting to be more aware of who you're with, who your friends are, and listening. More so than making assumptions about it, or about the situation. So I don't want to make it seem like I never want to be around people with children
Right. Not that. Right.
or nothing like that. No. It's not like that. I just
Yeah.
and it's one of those things where it's day to day, and it's not like a cookie cutter answer that you
Mhm.
can give to everybody because I think every person processes this differently. Even men go through this too, which is
Absolutely.
definitely not discussed. And I've tried to get in a couple of groups, I would say, with women that have some stories, and they say things, about how they maybe feel uncomfortable being at certain events. But I would just certain things like baby announcements or pregnancy announcements, even when you're always talking about your children. I think sometimes that can be it. Like if every day is going to be something new like that, or
Yes.
it's just kind of like, okay, I got it. I
Right.
got it.
Right.
And I know you're just excited, or that's just your life, right? We talk about our lives.
Right.
And I think a part of it is for me or somebody in my position to understand that and to
Mhm.
not be offended. Right. So I think
Absolutely.
both of us kind of meeting in the middle. And
Yes.
that's what I try to do. So I hope and pray. So I'm sure I'll hear from some of my friends after this how I approach it. And if there's any way I can be better, for sure, I definitely want to be because I don't want to come across as being, jealous or envious.
Right. But it's like you're entitled to feel how you feel though. Like
Yeah.
my triggers is every year, August, September, all those back to school pictures with
Right. That's
children and
yep.
all that, yeah, they're or going to back school shopping or your families and even, when my dad died, like it triggered, I was just like, I'll never ever have my dad walk me down the aisle. So
Mm-hmm.
every wedding, and I just happen to be a singer who sings at a whole bunch of weddings,
Wow.
gotta leave or I gotta block it out. So what you said was pivotal in the fact that it's okay. I don't have a problem with you asking if you're not being nosy because it's a different way to ask, and then you're just trying to be nosy. No, really, it is. And so, just
Yeah.
in regular conversations, did you ever want children? Did you ever want to be married? Yeah. Like I'll tell you, like
Yeah.
part, or, you know, but like you said, understand that just because I don't come, it doesn't mean that I don't care about you or I don't care about your children. But maybe that day, that situation, for whatever reason, is a trigger, and understand that, you know, you got to experience something that I still want to experience and may never ever experience, and have to kind of be okay with it. But this was not my dream,
right,
my vision, or my goal, you know. Cheryl said, I think the secrecy among Blacks stem from, I'm going to put it up here, slavery times. We had to keep everything within ourselves and within our community. It has been such a disservice to our overall healing as a people. And I agree. If nothing else from these posts, or anytime I do an event, I always try to find real everyday people that are willing to share their stories. Like, I don't think that it has to be because a person is a celebrity that you only listen to them. Like, why does it have to be a tragedy or a celebrity? Why can't you listen to people who you know in your everyday life, who live as examples of whatever's going on, and you listen, really, really listen to them and be willing to actually move forward? Dr. McCann said, do you think the question should be part of a sensitivity training for people in the workplace, or just close friends? I think it can actually be for both, because when you think about HR and you think about harassment, like, sometimes some of the jokes that are funny to everybody else not funny to me, because you know what I mean? And then, but definitely close friends. I think that one of the other things you said is that we don't have the discussions, but sometimes it's because we don't have the discussions. Meaning the people, the victim or the person who's going through.
That's true. That is true.
Like, we don't open up, and so they don't even know, because it's not common sense to them. It's not common knowledge to them. They don't know what it feels like not to have a child in their.
Right. And I would also say this. So even at my job, almost everybody in there is having children. Almost everybody. Some people working on their third, second, first one. It's always a lot of baby showers around there. But I still participate. You know, I go with somebody on my team. I help plan it. So, you know, I get it. And it's a lot of, you know, conversation. I think people in the workplace sometimes avoid certain questions because they don't want to come off as offensive.
Right.
But, you know, it's sometimes just being there. It's like, but I talk to myself. I do that a lot. I'm in my head, like, okay, Jennifer, you know, you're here to celebrate this. Get out of your feelings. So, you know, I work on that myself to make sure that, you know, I'm bringing my best self towards whatever situation I'm in, and I don't come across as being bad, or, you know, and sometimes I won't go, right? But I will still donate. I will still get
absolutely
whatever card and sign, because, you know, I think God has for us what is for us, right? Not wanting that for you is not gonna make it any better. And so but yeah, there is a balance, I think. And I think sometimes our friends and family just don't know. Like you said, we don't talk about it. And even if we do, it's like, well, I don't know what to do with that.
Right. See, you hit it, man. Jennifer, I don't think you know how good you are. So, because a lot of times when I do this, I think about, I was in counseling for 20 years, so I don't know how to approach these without, like, counselors are taught interview skills. But one of the things that you said also before, you were like, it's grief, it's loss. And the thing about real grief and loss, whether it's a real person or a thing, a desire, a goal, is that it does happen differently to everybody. So may not be the same feeling. We could go through the exact same thing and you have a completely different thing. But people tell me to get over the death of, like I said, my mom too. And I'm like, have you ever had to see somebody die in front of you or resuscitated in front of you? And so that's another grief. So I don't have children. That's grief. I'm not married. Another grief. Another. What, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have physical people that love me die. I don't have anybody now, no parents anymore. And so, like, even when you were saying I could talk to my parents and they don't pressure me, I don't even have that choice.
Right.
So and it's not a judgment against you. Like, thank God that you even have your parents to even be able to process. I don't even have that. And so loneliness is we're talking about. That's going to be one of the topics I'm having with another male friend. There's so many other issues that come out of grief and loss. The secondary issue that a lot of people, they only look at the surface. Oh, she can't have children. So You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so much more to that. I just want to get a few of these comments. Ned Glenn said, thank you for sharing. I agree we need to discuss this early. My life plan would have been different if I consciously realized that at some point motherhood would no longer be an option. I totally get that. Thank you for sharing. Crimson Queen 5. One of the biggest pet peeves is the language of random comfort and hope that people just say just because you still have time is the rudest thing. Can say it's not about time. You're right, because we can't even plan it. Even when we have time, God's still the one who allows us to get pregnant or not. Adore it's okay not to attend the birthday party. Thank you for giving. Sometimes I don't know about you, but I feel guilty sometimes when I don't want to be present. It's so crazy because as the holidays are coming up, I want to spend time, family, and I don't have no. I talk to my friend on here all the time about like, well, I wonder what this is because I haven't even seen my brother since COVID. So like we don't family still get together. We don't do that. So I feel isolated. And then the one thing that a lot of my friends have, even if they don't have a relationship, is children.
Yeah.
I can't
right.
You know what I mean? It's so many different levels. And like I said, if anything else, I want people to come out of this thinking about not feeling sorry for.
No.
Thinking about being aware that, wow, I wonder what my friend who doesn't have anybody in their life, doesn't have any people to love on, you know what I'm saying? Like children to, because a lot of times I know people say, yeah, but my child saved me. Well, even when I'm depressed, there's no child there to like live for. So I have to question and go through.
Right. All of that. Especially now during COVID.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm lonely. Yeah, it's lonely.
It's lonely, And it's hard for the parents too. They got to teach and do all the stuff that they're doing while they're working. We're not saying, the grass is green on either side. Right. Be aware of what's going on. You going to say something?
But this is the other thing that just popped in my mind. And so I think when you say, when people say, well, at least I have my children or I do this for my children, it leads me to purpose, right? So I'm not saying my purpose was to be a mother and like in all, but a lot of people, when they talk about what they're doing for their future, it's all about legacy. What am I going to leave to my children, right? All this work that I'm doing, it's not for me. It's for my children. It's to leave something for their future so they can be prosperous and grow. And so this has challenged me to think about, what is my legacy? Not to say that I won't have children one way or the other in, some form of fashion, but at this point, what is when I put my final documents together and, because I think about this stuff, your estate planning, who am I leaving it to? Like, I don't know. And so and I do have children in my family, have cousins. I mean, we have I have those things. And what I would tell people too, and this might be a little funny, but I think about this often and I don't want to sound morbid, but as I get older, who's going to be looking after me when I get older?
I think about that all the time. I mean, I'm not lying. Yes, I get it. It's like, but yeah, what happens if something happens and I catch COVID? Who can help me?
Right.
It's nobody. I totally get that. I do.
So it just lends to other things that most people they don't think about, or you don't consider, because this is just kind of how life typically goes for everyone. But I'm a thinker anyway. I'm a thinker. And so I am a long range planner. And so I think that's part of the reason of my whole financial freedom goal, is because when if I so happen to not have children, I need to have enough money to pay somebody to take care of me. Right? Because nobody doing nothing for free, and family barely don't want to do something for you for free. So I need to get myself in a position where I'm okay. But again, like I said, I don't want to be morbid, but that's one of the things that I think about that are attached to having children. It's not just about having kids, and I think a big part of it, like I mentioned to you too, going back to my family, about being the only child. I'm my father's only child. I just saw my friend.
Yeah, I'm posting as we're saying. So some of these, just so you know, I'm not actually saying live, but you'll get to see them as we continue.
Okay. I'm my father's only child, and so really, his name stopped with me. Like, I had a whole plan. And again, like, this is because we have such a small family, that I'm like, gosh, that's it for us. I think about that. That's it for us. And it makes me sad. That's not to say that there is nothing in the future. That's not to say that I can't create my own legacy in my own way. But it makes me sad to know that that's it, in a sense. Maybe in a DNA sense, right? That it stops with me. And so I think about that. But I don't think a lot of people think about all of these things that come out of it. All these raw emotions. And I will be honest with you, and I probably haven't shared this with anybody. I probably had like a low grade form of depression that I never shared with anyone. I mean, I'm still able to go to work, do my job. I'm active in my sorority. I do all this stuff. Check on my friends. I never let anybody really see this side of me because sometimes I'm like, well, Jennifer, you just need to deal with this on your own. That's why you have a counselor, and I do go to counseling on a regular basis. So that's no secret.
So do I.
Every conversation isn't about this either. There's so many other things in life,
right,
that we talk about. But this is one of those things that is just there, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just, it just aches sometimes, and I do desire to get to a place where it's not there. Like I feel like sometimes, though, Lisa, when you talk about that thorn that Paul had, I do think about that often. That maybe this is my thorn. I'm not saying that it is.
You might be my little sister for real, like little people. I'm just saying, but yeah, I feel you.
And I'm not saying that it is because I haven't heard a word. God hasn't told me that this is what it is, Jennifer. You need to deal with it. But I got to work through this, and come to terms with it. Yeah. So I see Adora. Let your friends help. Yeah. And I think that's what I don't do a lot. I don't share a lot. Because sometimes I'm like, well, no one wants to hear this. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I try to keep a positive, outlook. So
it's so crazy because I don't know about you. I haven't been a real woman in years, but I thank God for meeting you in Real Women. Thank God for you supporting me. I think I mentioned I sing, but last year I sing mostly gospel. That's what people know me for. But I joined the R&B band, which I've done before, and I think that I'm at this place where I need to switch up, maybe because I'm in like a wanting a relationship stage. But I thank God for you coming out because that helped us, reconnect. Not that we were never not connected. Yeah. And I thank God for this moment because he could have anybody could have answered the call, but I thank God it was you because my prayer for you is that after this you do feel a little bit freer. Because it's not a secret anymore. It's out.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like I'm afraid because it's out, but it's not a secret anymore. It's out. So find the balance. Keep on working for the balance. Keep on, trying to find out what the balance is. Sierra, thank you for sharing, that. She said she, with both of us. And I'm sorry that you've gone through that. It's important. You got somebody else that, so this is the thing, like we really aren't alone in the world. I'll tell you, and I share this, a beautiful anointing. If you all go back to my YouTube page, she's done 2 videos with me, interviews. We've known each other since junior high school, but in this season, we're closer than ever. Like we talk all the time, and I literally have called her crying, like, and she has not left. Which I praise God for. And even this is a blessing to see how many people that you are, touching. This, I won't even lie. We don't have a lot of people. I told you that come on live. This is probably the most people that have been on live at the time. But you, so hold on one second. Say, Trina, you can come back. Oh, Trina's on. You can watch it on YouTube. She said, "Hey, Jennifer." Yeah. And so you can come back or you can watch it on the link and you'll be able to see it in its entirety. And so, just just know that this is going to change lives. It's going to change your life. It's going to change other people's lives. I'm telling you, you'll call me, you're going to be like, Lisa, I promise you, it happens every single time. And that's what, me, it's not even about the embarrassment and the pain and the shame sometimes that I feel, the stuff that I've gone through. To hear somebody say, now I'm getting emotional. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being open and honest and willing to tell somebody, you know, what it is, to let me know that I'm not, that far outweighs anything that I feel when I'm like, I don't want to do. And I pray that you feel that same thing too. And I thank you for being to talk about this topic, because like you said, a lot of people don't want to. And now, even if you don't want to, you could just send them the link.
Like, here you go.
No,
to kind of piggyback off what you're saying, a lot of it is a lot of shame. I never realized how much I'm like, man, how did that happen?
Got me crying on my own.
I feel like it's my fault, right? Like, I'm the one that did this. I made choices that led me here. Whether they be good or bad, the choices I made led me here. And it's a lot of guilt, a lot. So many emotions that I go through dealing with this. But I will say, Lisa, that I appreciate this platform, because I will be honest with you, there is a certain amount of freedom I feel like that has been lifted in me because of this. I will say that. So I appreciate you. I appreciate your story. I mean, because I can't even imagine all those things and all those traumas. And so I know we're not comparing traumas.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you saying that, because there are times where if no one said anything, then I would not. Sometimes I don't even know what God's gonna have me to say. Literally, just a few weeks ago, I called my friend. I was like, I'm done. I'm tired of this. I'm exhausted. Like, I have to fight the depression all the time, and days that I want to give up. And I know that if I give in and I succumb to suicide, everything that I've done would be for naught. Dr. McCann would call me. She's like, "You good?" But it took me opening up to people and telling them that I was dealing with it. And my real friends do reach out.
Yeah.
You see who was really there and who wasn't rocking with me. And I found out that a lot of people really weren't rocking with me that I thought. And so it's the process of healing has so many ebbs and flows. Like, if no one knows that, if they didn't know it before, know that it's never just a steady thing. Grief is never just steady. Griefshare.org is what I went to after my mom died. It is not just for it could be for someone that's dying. It could be for any type of loss, and they help us journal through it. And it really did help me process some stuff. And I've been a counselor for 20 years and I still needed help. It's okay to go to counseling. I'm glad that you go. It's okay to get help. It's okay to, to reach out to someone who is better trained than you, kind of go through, the process. So I appreciate that because and see, when I do stuff like this, it makes me be like, I can't stop in December. I want to stop. But I just need to change the format, because I like to see people deliver and set free and willing to share their stories. It's all about people getting healed. It really is. And I believe that today somebody is going to think about something differently. They're not going to ask the dumb questions. You know what I'm saying? Or if they do ask it, they'll be able to backtrack and say, maybe I should have said, whatever, differently. So I thank you all for watching. And I pray that you all do, like I said, subscribe to this. Jennifer, do you have any, well, first of all, did anybody have any questions before we go?
I seen a lot of comments, so thank you all. I can't respond to them, so but I do.
Yeah.
So thank
you. Can you go back even on YouTube? You're able to actually respond to the comments or whatever that are left there.
Okay.
So, did you want to leave your social media information for anybody that want? Because you might have speaking from this. You man, well, you're a woman, but you just never know.
So all that know me, no, I am on social media.
You're private.
A big social media poster. Everyone kind of knows that, but I will give out, my Instagram handle.
Okay.
It's One Cool Delta. So OneCoolDelta. So One Cool Delta.
I need to be following you. I don't think I'm following you on Instagram. We just friends on which
I think we just friends on. Yeah. So
I need to change that. Hold on. Okay, so I just put hold on, I'm typing it in the chat so y'all can have it. The ones who don't with her to speak. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, I'm gonna do the opposite way.
This is almost like my
It's a lot for me, y'all. Plus, I'm still crying. Thanks, Jennifer.
It's more cathartic, right? Just we need to.
It's not bad or sad tears. Thank you. I'm trying to go back and say thank you. Thank you both. You're welcome. Terry, this was awesome. There's so much strength in your vulnerability. You are two very powerful women for being so. Bless you. Thank you all. Like seriously, y'all have no idea. Yes, please continue to share your story. Question for both of you. Yes. Question. Hold on. Yeah. Jennifer's Instagram. Okay, I got that. Right. That's right. Right. One cool.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. How has any of your testimonies said, ooh, good one, Crimson? I'll let you go first, Jennifer.
Interesting. So I've only really been in one relationship, meaning I guess a long-term relationship since the diagnosis. And the funny thing is, I really don't approach relationships, and that's in the back of my mind, but I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm just approaching this relationship. And when we get to that bridge where we kind of talk about that topic, I'll bring it up. And the funny thing is, in the last relationship, it didn't matter. It was so freeing in that moment. When I shared and I was accepted, right? And I was like, I wasn't rejected. Now there have been, times where I think I put a barrier up myself. So to answer that question, even before I approach a new relationship or a new friendship with someone, I think about that. I'm like, I wonder if I qualify. Because if they want what I can't give, I don't qualify. Right? And I shouldn't think of it like that, right? But I do, because some people have their own biological children, and that's fair. I'm okay with that, right? But it's in the back of my mind. So I'm working on just like, this is me. And if I get to the point where someone that they're not okay, then that's okay. We'll just part ways, right? And no harm, no foul. And I'm not mad about it. I think I have gotten to that point. But I will have been surprised with the amount of men who have been more accepting than not. But I haven't really shared my entire story either. They probably know just little bits and pieces, but not everything that came along with it. But maybe I just haven't gotten to that place to share that with. But maybe the next person.
A lot of guys over 42 are pretty much setting their way. Like I think I might have met one who didn't have children already. I'm being honest. So they're just like kind of already set. So it's not as big of a deal. And just the people that I know, I'm not saying everybody. I would love to have a male who has the same or similar story, because there are men who are impotent, who cannot have children. And the thing is, it's really hard to get men to speak anything about this or anything about just, mental health related or overcoming struggles or whatever. And that's the whole premise of me doing this. Like, even though I'm not counseling right now, which, by the way, if you all need help or any type of anything here triggers you, please seek counseling. These are just our opinions and our thoughts. I'm not operating in. I have to remember to say that, because I'm not trying to get anybody, and I forget all the time to say it. But just I'm definitely a proponent of counseling. If you need resources or referrals, I can give you that. But that's not my role in this. This was just really, this platform is just to have conversations with people and to let people know, to be encouraged, get help if they need it, or to let them know that they're not alone, because you're not alone. in any of this. And so I really do appreciate you all joining us. I'm going to put my YouTube page in here, and you can actually, ooh, I spelled it wrong. So let me go spell it right. YouTube. You know, and you can also find me on social media at One Singing Lady. It's just the number one. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok as well. So I would you all to follow me. Go on.
Oh no, I did want to add. So on Facebook, I'm just Jennifer Cole. So I'm not sure if there's I'm sure there are multiples of us on Facebook though.
Okay, I'm spelling that out now, and I'm putting. So I hope to see some new friends, right?
Yeah.
For both of us.
I'm really open to talking about this to, people one-on-one if they would like, and kind of give, more details possibly if it'll help, because it's a journey and it's a process and I can't say when it's going to be done. I mean, that's my truth. It's a process.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brilliant. So I did want to say I wanted to thank my friends for coming, for supporting me. I appreciate all of them, and it really did help me get the courage. They helped me get the courage to do this, and are very supportive. So thank you.
Well, you definitely had some awesome friends, I could tell. Thank you all for supporting Jennifer in this. I thank you for just letting her know that that she's not alone. And I hope that you know that. If you didn't know this before, you should know now that you're not alone. So we really do appreciate it. I don't have anything else. If you this was good. I like it. And, who knows what, I don't know what God's gonna do with me next. I keep on saying I'm tired, but he always has different
You say December, but
I know we don't we never know what he's gonna do, and I'm trying to just let him be God, right? That's what we're supposed to do because we're not in control. But definitely appreciate it. Yes, you do check on me, Dr. Ken. I appreciate it. Your friend says she's so proud of you. You are rock. I love to see some of y'all on social media. There you go. Get another call.
All right.
So we thank you so much. Please again, like, share, subscribe. Let someone know, it's out there now. Some of my friends are like, I don't want people to know my business. Well, it's kind of out there now, but this, I believe, is definitely going to help other people. Thank you so much, Jennifer. I appreciate it. I'm going to ask you to hold back, and you have a lovely evening. Again, One Singing Lady out. Thanks again for joining us.
Bye.
Good night.